Well, I wish I had a better way to start the new week of Bruce Hooley shows and a Monday edition of the show than with the news that I have to share about why your flags are flying at half mast today. They are flying at half mast to honor a Euclid, Ohio police officer who was murdered in the line of duty on Saturday night. Jacob Durbin was 23 years old. He had been on the Euclid police force for less than a year. He joined in July of last year after graduating from Kent State. His father is also on the force, and his father, talking about his son, said his kind heart and enormous smile were infectious. The world was a better place with him in it. He will be desperately missed by all who knew him. So Mrs. Durbin lost her son on the eve of Mother's Day. And thankfully, the suspect was shot and killed before he could do any more damage to any other officers, although this came after a barricade situation, after a long standoff with police over the weekend in Cleveland. This is the beginning of Law Enforcement Memorial Week. I don't know if it's, I know it's never good for a law enforcement officer to lose their life in the line of duty. Does it help bring home the point, which we should already all know, how dangerous this job is, and how thankless it is, how the pay doesn't come close to the risk involved? Nor does the appreciation for these men and women who risk their lives literally every single time they set foot outside their cruiser on a call. I'm not trying to be gratuitous here, but every time I hear of a situation like this where a domestic incident, and this began with a call to the police that the person who shot and killed Officer Durbin was threatening the mother of, the shooter was threatening the mother of his child and the mothers of the mother's child. And I can't think of a domestic violence incident without thinking about the horrific Saturday morning in Westerville in 2018 when we lost officers Eric Joring and Anthony Morelli. I can only imagine how hard it is to move past something like that, and how much an incident like what happened Saturday night in Euclid brings that back home for every single family who's lost a loved one who's a law enforcement officer in the line of duty. Thankfully, last night we did not lose any Columbus police officers. Well, it wasn't. Well, it was last night because we had a shooting at the Amazon warehouse in West Jefferson. I'll get to that in a moment. It was not a domestic violence incident. It sounds like a mental health incident of a person who just went nuts or had bitterness and anger that he couldn't deal with any other way than to shoot up a place where he worked and then lead police on a chase. That ended with the shooter being killed by police, which, if someone has to die, at least the bad guy died in this situation. But Saturday night, a few hours before Officer Durbin lost his life in Euclid, and we very well could have had the same situation here in Columbus. Domestic violence incident called in, turns into a gun battle, and the suspect, again, thankfully the suspect is the only one who ended up dead in this situation. Where did this happen? McAllister Avenue and Lockwood Road, 1 block south of East Main Street. Officers arrive, they find a guy, he opens fire on them. Same situation as in Euclid. The Euclid officers were ambushed. They show up, they go into the backyard, Officer Durbin gets shot fatally, no other officers killed. But if not for a bulletproof vest that a Columbus police officer was wearing, we might be talking about the exact same situation this morning here in Columbus. Because an officer was struck in his vest by a man who shot with a rifle. And so the officers returned fire, hitting the suspect and killing him. He's pronounced dead at 7:50 p.m. The officers are directed to a home residence of some sort in that neighborhood where they found a woman that this guy with the rifle had shot and killed. So he killed this woman in a domestic violence incident. It's reported. The police officer shows up. He tries to kill police officers and himself is killed. We do not do enough for, we do not appreciate enough our police officers, the first responders, the people who keep us safe. And man, I just can't fathom the grief that the Durbin family in Euclid is experiencing today with the loss of this officer. What happened in West Jefferson last night? Don't have a name, but this guy apparently worked at the Amazon warehouse in West Jefferson. And he starts shooting inside the warehouse, then flees. And officers encounter him just east of 270 near Georgesville and Climb Road. He fires at officers. He hits an officer in the vest. Brian Steele, head of the FOP Lodge 9, says that the vest likely saved the officer's life. So thankfully we didn't have a mass shooting and any victims in West Jeff. Thankfully we don't have any of our own officers who were killed, but boy, this poor family in Euclid, 23-year-old son, dad's on the force, shows up to a domestic violence incident and gets ambushed in the backyard, shot and killed. Now, we have an identity on the shooter who killed the officer in Euclid. 24-year-old Anthony Vaughn. Surprise, surprise, Mr. Vaughn has an extensive criminal record. He's 24. He's 24. Extensive criminal record. Pled guilty in 2021 to receiving stolen property, having a weapon under disability, sentenced to 9 months in prison. 9 months. Actually, I'm surprised he even got that much, given the way our criminal justice system works. So make no mistake, I don't know if Mr. Vaughn was going through the legal system in Cleveland. It's the same morass of ineptitude and malignant compassion. Malignant ineptitude disguised as compassion, as we have here in Columbus. Mr. Vaughn is black. I'm shocked they put him in jail. I'm shocked. For 9 months. How racist. That's the attitude here in Columbus. Oh, we can't prosecute that person. It'll make our crime statistics look bad. It'll make us look like we're searching out certain ethnicities. Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. Translation, prison. Said Vaughn was wanted for violating the conditions of his supervision. You mean he didn't call his parole officer when he was supposed to call him? Shocked. I'm shocked. Aren't you shocked? Yes, I know we're all shocked. On its website, they said, this individual should be considered dangerous and possibly armed. Do not attempt to apprehend this individual. Call your local law enforcement agency. Yes, call your local law enforcement agency. Let them be the bullseye for Mr. Vaughn. And that's exactly what happened. Man. But we got to go prosecute Jason Meade a second time, and we got to go prosecute the officers who shot the knucklehead who was inside his apartment and his buddies outside wouldn't say whether he was in or out. He wouldn't come to the door while the police dog is barking outside. The whole situation disgusts me. How we have either career criminals or people trending toward being career criminals who are coddled by the system because, Democrats believe that you can't punish somebody for doing the wrong thing. Crime and punishment? Oh, punishment so harsh. Consequences for actions? What? I feel bad for this 24-year-old guy in Cleveland who ruined his own life but he ruined it by his own choices. Conversely, Officer Durbin made every great choice he could make in his life. He prioritized a career. He went to school to get an education in that career. He followed his father, I can only imagine how close they are, into the same force, working together. This young man at 23 years old was likely living his dream. And it's snuffed out by somebody who is the worst excuse for a contributor to our society. Someone who was violent toward the mother of his child, his mother-in-law, and law enforcement. Man, that's disgusting. We're in commercial. Golly, I feel bad for this kid.
Increased its size and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles of America's wars. To start listening now, go to parthenonpodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
Once again, Pure Talk, my sponsor and my wireless company, is investing in their customers out of their own pocket without charging an extra penny. Pure Talk is now providing international roaming to over 50 countries. That's right. I had terrific coverage on my last trip when I traveled to Japan. Told you all about it. It was impeccable. And as you plan your summer travel, make sure your wireless provider has you covered at home and abroad. Pure Talk already puts you on America's most dependable 5G network, but now they're giving you coverage in over 50 countries as well. Unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $20 a month. That's less than half the price of Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Bring in your phone or get great savings on the latest iPhones and Androids too. Do this. Dial #250 and say Mike Gallagher when prompted, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will make switching so easy. Again, when you dial #250 and say keyword Mike Gallagher, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Switch to Pure Talk so you can afford to travel this summer.
This is Dennis Prager. Now you can listen to my show when it's convenient for you and without censorship from big tech. Become a member of the ultimate online community for all things Prager. It's Pragertopia Unlimited. Listen to the show on demand when it's easiest for you. This includes every radio show, every segment, and every guest over the last 10 years. And it's commercial free. You can even share your favorite segments with your friends. Plus, you'll get the same email from Alan Estrin that I receive every night about the most important issues to read about. Pragertopia Unlimited members can also listen to every program, lecture, and course that is in the Prager store. Thousands of hours. You can even listen to all my Torah teachings for free. Share my passion for free speech. Join today and save 25% off the first year and get a free Pragertopia coffee mug. It's all things Prager, Pragertopia Unlimited. Go to Pragertopia.com or click the banner at DennisPrager.com.
Well, I sure hope you got Mother's Day right, guys. If you didn't, you can get it right going forward. And, you know, it's such a great gift that I'm going to propose to you that it'll cover you in arrears as well. I'm talking about becoming a PatriotSwitch.com member. Now, first thing that your wife or girlfriend likes is saving money, right? Yeah, well, you'll save $18 on an annual membership when you take advantage in the next 2 days of the $1 annual membership. Go to brucehooley.com or patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Sign up, give me your information. I'll call you today, tonight. We'll get you signed up. We'll get you shopped. And very soon, on your doorstep will be a box of goodies. And every month, there'll be another box of goodies. What kind of goodies, Bruce? I thought you said it was mouthwash, toothpaste. Yes, but they're good mouthwash and toothpaste without any toxins, without any benzenes, without any nitrates. The laundry detergent, I notice now, a lot of the laundry detergents, all and Tide, are advertising like all natural. Well, everything at Patriot Switch is all natural. Why are they charging you more for that? Patriot Switch won't do that. Get Mother's Day right in arrears and in advance by becoming a patriotswitch.com member. Go to brucehooley.com or patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Oh boy, Donald Trump is back in the New York courtroom today, and the star witness for the prosecution is Michael Cohen. He's on the stand today. Michael Cohen, who, didn't I say star witness? I think I did. I don't think of a star witness as someone who has lied to Congress, committed perjury on multiple occasions, and served 3 years in prison for bank fraud, tax evasion, and violating campaign finance laws. That's some star witness. You say, well, I mean, a star witness, you've got to expand your horizons a bit, Bruce, because their other star witness was a 4 times married, now bisexual porn star, Stormy Daniels, who has changed her story more times than, she's supposedly been in 150 pornographic films, and now she directs pornographic films about what supposedly happened between her and Donald Trump. But hey, we don't have to try to keep track long distance of a double standard of justice, one for Democrats and one for Republicans. We've got a demonstration of that right here at home. Not with somebody who has, ever accomplished anything like Donald Trump has. No, with our own murder mayor, America's golfing mayor, Andrew Ginther. It has been almost 7 months, Bill Bush writes in the Columbus Dispatch, since Andrew Ginther improperly contacted a Franklin County judge to tell her, hey, we got a new Greyhound bus terminal and there's a lot of crime around it. And rather than me figuring out a way to solve the crime, which I can't really do because A, I don't want to fix crime in the city of Columbus because I'll lose me votes, and B, all my cops are quitting on me and I can't replace them on the force because nobody wants to work for my chief of police or me or my law director or my city council that comes up with a civilian oversight review board to question everything the cops do, justified or not. I can't fix the problem, Judge, so I'd like you to do what's right and shut down the Greyhound bus terminal. Imagine that. A publicly elected official intervening to mess up a private business. Well, you can do that if you're a Democrat. You can do it in Columbus, Andrew Ginther figured. Except, well, the judge let it slip that, there was a publicly elected official who made a phone call. A city elected official called her and said, this Greyhound station is a problem for the community. We really need you to do the right thing for the community and shut it down. Now, the judge did not say at the time who placed that phone call on October the 11th, 2023. October the 11th, 2023. Can anybody think of a reason why a judge in Franklin County, where judges have been known to do what? Oh, that's right. Switch their political affiliation from Republican to Democrat in order to get re-elected. Can anybody think why Judge Stephanie Mingo in October of 2023 would have said, I had somebody who was elected to a citywide office call me and say that I needed to shut down the Greyhound terminal, which, by the way, that phone call is highly inappropriate because judges are supposed to be what? Independent of what? Political influence? Yes. Stephanie Mingo, though, didn't disclose who the public official was. On October the 11th, 2023, can anybody think of anything that might have kept Stephanie Mingo from disclosing who that was? Could it have been the election that was going to happen like a couple of weeks later? Oh, you mean the election, Bruce, where Andrew Ginther got reelected mayor of Columbus? Yes, that's the election I'm talking about, because guess what happened 2 weeks after the election? Judge Stephanie Mingo all of a sudden disclosed that, hey, the person who called me was none other than Mayor Andrew Ginther. Well, now, that's a problem. It's a problem that she didn't disclose it. It's also a problem the mayor made the phone call. And so they looked into this, and City Attorney Zach Klein, who wants to be the next Andrew Ginther, and I mean, if you were a Democrat, wouldn't you want to be the next Andrew Ginther? You apparently get, free food at Hometown Buffet every night. You get to golf at OSU Scarlet whenever you want to. You're not responsible for anything, and you don't ever have to be concerned about getting reelected because every dope in the city continues to vote for you because you have a D next to your name. I don't blame Zach Klein. That looks like a great gig, except I have too much integrity to want to be the kind of person that you must be to be the mayor of Columbus. So Zach Klein said, well, I'm not going to investigate Andrew Ginther. I'm not committing political suicide. So Zach Klein outsourced it to a special prosecutor. I mean, gee, you sure we can afford that, Zach? I mean, this might end up costing us upwards of $1 million. Like, we could build a $101 million bike path if not for you and your special prosecutor bill that's going to come due sometime. But a funny thing happened on the way to the special prosecutor investigating Andrew Ginther. It's kind of the same thing that happened when Merrick Garland named a special prosecutor to investigate Joe Biden's stewardship of classified documents. We waited and we waited and we waited and we waited, and we're still waiting to hear from the special prosecutor on Andrew Ginther 7 months later. 7 months later. Which, of course, is the point of the entire exercise, is to just draw it out so that we all forget about it. So kudos to Bill Bush at the Dispatch for checking on it. But is there any reason why the mayor and the judge both declined comment on whether they've even been interviewed yet? I think there might be a reason. And the reason is because if neither one of them has been interviewed so far, that would indicate that this special prosecutor has, is it possible, a better gig than Andrew Ginther? A better gig than Zach Klein? That this special prosecutor has the same gig that Nathan Wade had in Atlanta? And he's getting paid to do nothing. I don't know if this special prosecutor has to sleep with anybody that looks like Fonnie Willis. If so, then probably not that great of a gig.
SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Biden continues to face blowback on his threat to stop sending certain weapons to Israel if it invades the city of Rafah. That's where the terrorist group Hamas is continuing to essentially hold civilians as human shields, and that could lead to the loss of civilian lives just the same. Critics like Senator Lindsey Graham say now is not the time for the U.S. to hold back weapons from Israel. Also, many analysts note that the very weapons the president is thinking of holding back are precision rockets, the very thing Israel needs to try and limit civilian casualties. Israel's leaders commemorated Memorial Day today, and a unusually somber holiday this year. It was almost entirely absorbed by the ongoing war in Gaza. It's been a strong session so far, for the most part, on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 9 points. This is SRN News.
Sleep Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. We've helped over 30,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. If your timeshare agreement goes on forever, if you were told timeshares are a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you have questions, we have the answers. At Wesley Financial Group, we're dedicated to helping timeshare owners get out of their financial nightmare. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call now for your free timeshare
Oh,
exit
sorry, we're in
information kit.
commercial. My bad.
800-256-5533. That's 800-256-5533. 800-256-5533.
Dennis Prager here. I invite you to join me on a Bible cruise this November. Share fresh insight, encouraging discussion, all while soaking up the sunshine and beauty of the tropical Caribbean paradise. Visit PragerBibleCruise.com.
The Tilton family at Tilton's Automotive Service has been serving our community with state-of-the-art equipment for nearly 35 years. From oil changes to detailing to complete engine replacement, we're here to serve you to the highest levels and make you part of the family. All our repairs are backed by a 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. Check out our mobile app for discounts and specials. Tilton's Automotive Service, in the shadow of Anheuser-Busch in Columbus and just off Creekside in Gahanna. For more info, check out tiltonsauto.com. Take it to Tilton's.
You'll sleep better knowing you got a great deal on a great mattress because you got it from Mattress Outlet and the Discount Shopping Club. Right now, get a $500 certificate from Mattress Outlet with any mattress purchase for only $250. These certificates go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. For details, log on to the Discount Shopping Club at 9890answer.com.
Let us help you get caught up when you enter the $18,000 Get Caught Up sweepstakes. The grand prize winner gets up to $10,000 in get relief. 3 first prize winners will get up to $1,000 in get relief. And 10 second prize winners will get $500 in get relief. That's $18,000 total. And that could be you.
Enter the Get Caught Up sweepstakes at 9890answer.com.
He's one of the top 10 radio hosts in the country. He never tarnishes his opinions. And now more than ever, you need to spend part of your day with a home dose of the Mike Gallagher Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hope you slept well this weekend. If you didn't, Mike Lindell can help you fix that. The man behind the revolutionary MyPillow is offering you any MyPillow you want, king, queen, the fill level that you want for $25. That's quite a deal. I paid $75-ish for my MyPillow about 7 or 8 years ago. I rested comfortably on it throughout the night, slept great. What do you need? Towels? You need slippers, slides? Now, I can't get you a mattress topper for $25 or a mattress itself. There is a limit to Mike Lindell's largesse, but there is no limit to his ingenuity when it comes to coming up with great sleep products. MyPillow was a one-product company. Now it is a multi-product company, and many of the products are on sale for $25 each. And if you order 3 of them, the $75 total gets you free shipping. So order today at mypillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. That's mypillow.com, promo code Bruce. So we've talked about the stupidity and nefarious nature of Joe Biden's policy on Israel, where he contends to this day that his support for Israel is ironclad. But it's ironclad up to the point where Israel, kills Hamas terrorists humanely? In a nice way? Maybe shoot them and then put flowers on them at the same time. Would that meet with Joe Biden's humane treatment of Hamas? And I didn't think it could get any worse than Joe Biden deciding a couple of days before his speech on Holocaust Remembrance Day, where he sure sounded like a guy whose support for Israel was actually ironclad. I didn't think it could get any worse than a couple days before that, Biden deciding to deny a shipment of precision arms to Israel that would reduce civilian casualties, when Israel goes into Rafah and finishes its war with Hamas, who embeds themselves with women and children because they are cowards and they won't come out and fight like real men. I didn't think it could get any worse than Biden deciding to stall the precision arms shipments to Israel so that it wasn't widely reported, although it did start to leak out. Then he could give his speech at the Holocaust Day, and then he could go on CNN and say, yeah, I am pausing arms shipments to Israel, which, by the way, is exactly what Donald Trump got impeached for the first time on Ukraine, withholding arms that Congress had approved for shipment to Ukraine. Trump got impeached for that. Biden, nothing will happen. But, as I said, I didn't think it could get worse. I'm just recapping the bad stuff, okay? Now comes word that the Biden administration, in an effort to win the state of Michigan, and specifically the area of Dearborn among Arab voters, the Biden administration is telling Israel, hey, we have information on where Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, the guy who planned the Hamas attacks on October 7th, we know where he is. Our intelligence officers have found out where he is. And maybe, if the reports are right, Sinwar is the same place as the 5 remaining American hostages in Gaza. Oh, right, you forgot about the 5 American hostages in Gaza because Biden never mentioned them in his 17 minutes on CNN, and nobody in the administration ever mentions them because they are, if not literally, then figuratively dead to the Biden administration. They don't care about them. They don't care about them at all. They never mention them. They never talk about them because they don't care. Because they can't afford to offend the college protesters. They can't afford to offend the college faculty. They can't afford to offend the people at Duke University yesterday who walked out on Jerry Seinfeld when he started to give a graduation speech. Can't afford to offend them. I got to be president a second time because Orange Man bad. The Biden administration, according to the Washington Post, which is, of course, the place that exists in tandem with the New York Times and in partnership with every other major media organization in business to keep Joe Biden in power, the Washington Post reports that the Biden administration is withholding intelligence on the location of senior Hamas officials to pressure Israel into giving up its planned invasion of Rafah. Biden officials have reportedly offered to supply Israel with intelligence on where those top Hamas officials are in exchange for assurances that the Israeli military will not conduct a full-scale invasion of Rafah. I have a question. What if Sinwar is in Rafah? And you say, oh, we know where he is. Go get him, but you can't go into Rafah if he's there. May I remind you right now that Israel is, I know, you're going to go, wait a second, we're not acting like it. Let me remind you, Israel is our ally. Israel is our ally. Imagine if Winston Churchill said, hey, I know where Mr. Hitler is, but you Americans cannot go into Berlin. What? Now, Churchill wouldn't have said that because he's not an idiot like Joe Biden. Churchill understood what an ally is. It's someone with whom you share intelligence, arms, and everything else it takes to win a war. How can we have ironclad support of Israel if we say, we know where the enemy is, but we're not going to tell you unless you agree not to go in and get him? Incredible. And of course, the media will carry water for Joe Biden on this. Margaret Brennan, Margaret Brennan, CBS. I get confused. CBS, Margaret Brennan, face the nation. I don't know how you face the nation carrying water for Joe Biden like this when Tom Cotton states it plainly. Here's the senator from Arkansas, and listen to Margaret Brennan. Oh, she's got to step in, and she's got to defend Joe Biden.
Just exchanged with Secretary Blinken, not a very clear statement. In that CNN interview, Democrats have said that. But what Blinken said there was it was just that one single shipment. You're saying you do not believe the Secretary of State when he says that?
Margaret, in March of 2022, Tony Blinken came on your show, this very show, and said the United States would be perfectly fine to see fighter jets sent to Ukraine. Joe Biden immediately reversed Tony Blinken's statement on this show. So what Tony Blinken says on this show cannot be credited when Joe Biden is out there imposing a de facto arms embargo on Israel at the same time he's letting arms embargoes on Iran expire.
Margaret working pretty hard there to take the starch out of what Tom Cotton was saying, and a lot was mentioned in their interchange about what CBS had just aired from Secretary of State Antony Blinken. What did Antony Blinken say? Well, here is the clip that they were talking about, in which Antony Blinken sure sounds to me like he's accusing Israel of violating the terms of war as war is meant to be fought under the Geneva Convention.
And when it comes to the use of weapons, concerns about incidents where either the
Now I want to stop him there because it seems like he's saying a lot, doesn't it? When people say a lot, what does that mean? Here's what it means to me. It means they're not exactly sure of what they're saying. They're not saying it with conviction. They don't hold it deep in their gut. Like when I go off on Joe Biden's economic policies and him saying inflation is 9%, do I stutter to find the right words? When I'm talking about Joe Biden and his duplicity on Israel, do I stutter to find the right words, or do I talk really, really fast and with a lot of passion? Why is Antony Blinken like pausing and uhing and umming? Come again. Come again. Tell me that last part again. I have a challenge for you, Antony Blinken, after you said. Now do Hamas. Now do Hamas. In certain instances, did Hamas not react in ways that are consistent with international law? Oh, you mean putting babies in ovens? You mean killing civilians? You mean slaughtering young people at a concert? You mean literally, and I'm sorry I have to say this, but it's the truth, raping women to death? Is that consistent with international law, Antony Blinken? I don't think it is. That's the side you're taking. That is the side you're taking. That is the side the Biden administration is taking. Because that is the side they are on. That is the side they are on. They have made it clear that that is the side that they are on by giving Iran billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. By not doing much, if anything, to stop the Houthis, who are Iranian pawns, from attacking ships in the Red Sea. Like, every action this administration takes has told you whose side they are on. The only thing that suggests they're on Israel's side are the words out of their mouth. And we've long since learned we cannot trust a single word out of their mouths.
Winds of clouds and sun for the afternoon. High today 80. Clouds, a couple of showers late tonight, low 59. Cloudy, not as warm. Shower, thunderstorm for tomorrow, high 74. Clouds and showers mainly early in the day on Wednesday. High Wednesday afternoon at 71. Periods of clouds and sun. A warm day on Thursday, the high 77. A shower, thunderstorm Friday. The high once again at 77. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hi, Mike Gallagher here. Let me tell you about my friends at Innovative Roofing Systems. They're the finest, most trustworthy installers in Central Ohio. If you need a roof inspection, it's free. If you install a new roof or siding and mention Mike and this ad, you get a $1,000 discount on your residential project. Innovative Roofing Systems. Schedule your appointment today. 614-324-9797. 614-324-9797 or go to innovativeroofingsystems.oh.com.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready to take the next step, Google Sales Surround Columbus right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Sales Surround Columbus today.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress, a mom. We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives. It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty, something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. It's not about paranoia.
Or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
We trust our instincts.
just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
There's a threat targeting America. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, this dangerous disease can cause life-changing health problems and is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. So it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside and seeing a doctor if you experience the warning signs, which can include joint pain and flu-like symptoms. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going in for the free consultation at QC Kinetics. Yeah, I got aches and pains too. I mean, I'm up there. I like to be active. I like to golf. I like to work out in my yard. I like to go to the shooting range. A lot of things I like to do. A little bit of back pain, a little bit of elbow pain, knee pain, ankle pain. Can you identify? Well, I'm going in for my free consultation. Why aren't you? Maybe I'll see you there. Their offices are local, and you can set up your consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. What do? Well, I'll tell you what they don't do. They don't operate on me. What they do is they concentrate the healing agents in my blood. They take them out, they remove them, they spin them, they preserve them, then they re-inject them into my body after my body has made more to replace those healing agents. And guess what? I'm like double teaming the arthritis pain, the joint pain. And magically, not magically because it's scientific, it goes away. QC Kinetics, free consultation. Take advantage today. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. So, big day in New York courtroom. Michael Cohen is on the stand. Michael Cohen is on the stand. What is he going to tell? A tale of religious transformation? I know I was a liar before. I know I lied to Congress before. I know I went to jail for being a tax evader and a serial perjurer and all sorts of other things before. But I'm really a good guy now. You should trust me. You should believe me. Now, what is Michael Cohen going to say when he gets on the stand? Well, he's going to really sock it to Donald Trump. We all know that, right? He's going to say how horrible and mean and awful and nasty Donald Trump is. That's for sure. We all know that's coming, right? Is that how Michael Cohen has always dealt with Donald Trump? No, it is not. Michael Cohen, back in, was it 2016, appeared in Cleveland, Ohio, at a church in Cleveland, Ohio, when Donald Trump was running for president. And there were a lot of important people there. First and foremost, Donald Trump was there. Mike Pence was there. In the back row, I see Michael Flynn. And Michael Cohen, the attorney for Donald Trump at the time, got up to speak in this church with a majority black parishioners in Cleveland to correct the record on Donald Trump. And this is how Michael Cohen started his comments that day. Crowd loves it. They agree.
It's hard to sit back. Actually, it's morally wrong to sit back and do nothing when someone who you know, someone who you hold in great esteem and truly care about, is being so viciously attacked, day in and day out.
Wow. He sounds like he was the engineer on the Trump train at that point in time, Michael Cohen. What's changed since then? Well, Michael Cohen's gone to prison. But what really changed is Michael Cohen didn't get a job in the Trump administration. He really liked the idea of being that close to power in Washington, D.C. But Michael Cohen's like a guy that just sort of alienates everybody that he's around. But he wasn't done in Cleveland, Ohio on that particular day. Here's more of what Michael Cohen has to say, which I would assume they're going to raise on cross-examination, although it's not the only place he said it. He's said things like this many, many times in the past about Donald Trump, who now Michael Cohen is all about vilifying in every way he possibly can.
You're all representative of the National Coalition for Trump. Now, I want to tell you about the real Donald Trump.
Oh.
The man who I have been fortunate enough to work for and to stand by shoulder to shoulder for a decade. The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous, compassionate, principled, empathetic, kind, humble, honest, and genuine. Now, when was the last time any of you saw the media praise Donald Trump for anything?
Well, he's got a point there. But Michael Cohen will, of course, tell a very different tale in this New York courtroom today and probably tomorrow. He'll probably be up there quite some time, testifying to events as he now sees them for matters of his own convenience. Here's Donald Trump reporting to court this morning. This might be his best opening statement prior to court that he has issued so far throughout this 3-week trial.
So thank you very much. Greatly appreciate you being here. The New York Times just came out with a poll and shows us leading everywhere by a lot. This is the cover story, and I think you'll find it very interesting, but I'm sure you've all read it. Leading in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada. Nevada, we are leading actually by 12 points, which is generally a Democrat state. I think we're probably leading in New Jersey. We had a rally, over 100,000 people this weekend. A lot of the mainstream media didn't want to say how many people, they didn't want to cover. In fact, I don't think anybody did. I hear the crowd was not shown by the mainstream media, which is what they tell me, but that's par for the course.
80 to 100,000 people outdoors on a cold, blustery. You were out on Saturday, right? Rainy day, blustery day. That weather was headed New Jersey's way and was already there. Friday was not all that beautiful here either. They stood outside of the camped out 80 to 100,000 people to see Donald Trump. What would you have to give people? What would you have to give people to get 80,000 people to show up for Joe Biden? Seriously, like if Joe Biden was say, you know what? I'm going to hold a rally in Ohio Stadium, Columbus, Ohio, on Saturday morning. Even if we're 80 degrees, how many people would show up? Would there be 80,000? No. Of course not. Maybe 8. Maybe. How long could he talk? Could he go like an hour and a half? Not without a nap. Not without tapioca. Come on. This is a joke, right? The whole thing's a joke. And the entire lawfare thing against Donald Trump is falling apart. And it's not just me saying it. It's not just like conservative commentators saying it. Here's Farhid Zakaria, who is a commentator on CNN. No friend of Donald Trump. Farhid Zakaria, legal analyst, commentator. His view of what's going on in New York with Trump.
Make him the object of some sympathy among people in general who believe that his prosecutors are politically motivated. This happens to be true, in my opinion. I doubt the New York indictment would have been brought against a defendant whose name was not Donald Trump. A majority of Americans are skeptical that Trump will be able to get a fair trial, according to a CNN poll.
Man, that's like CNN on CNN crime right there. A guy on CNN saying most Americans think that the prosecution of Donald Trump is political, and he said, I agree, and then he uses a CNN poll to bolster his opinion. Hilarious. Hilarious. I don't know, though, if this jury will see any one of a number of things going on in this trial that should cause them to deliberate, 15 minutes? 5 minutes? You got to elect a foreman, so that takes a little bit of time. But I mean, this is a joke. It's New York City, though. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Donald Trump, he's not going to get charged in Florida before the election. The Georgia case is in limbo, with the appeal now going to Fonnie Willis's right to stay on. So Trump may pull it off.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years.
Oh, that was a quick hour.
That we haven't seen in
Quick
a long
hour.
time, maybe ever.
Thanks for joining.
Inflation continues to be a problem.
Are we on
Interest rate
LinkedIn? We are on
increases have made
LinkedIn.
purchases
Okay.
like cars
Good
and
deal.
homes
Had a little
seemingly
trouble with the
impossible
LinkedIn
for
stream.
some.
Glad we got it back up.
Looks like a scary proposition.
Y'all have a great day.
For many, it appears to be
I'll
a
look
dire
at you when I say that.
situation
Sorry.
that has
Y'all have a
left
great
them
day.
paralyzed and
Hour
fearful.
number 2 of the
We're not
show
helpless.
airs on the Bruce
We're
Hooley
all
Show
ways to
Facebook
gain back
page
control.
and the 9890 Answer Facebook page. We don't stream it everywhere, both hours, to keep everybody here happy and give that some exclusivity. So hope you guys all have a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. So sad for that Euclid officer. So sad for his family. If you have the means and you see a law enforcement officer out at a restaurant or someplace, like if you can, at the very least, tell them you appreciate them. Tell them what you appreciate what they do for us and the way they take their life in their hands every day. And if you can, maybe buy them lunch. It'd be a nice gesture, and I know they would appreciate it. I'm blessed to have a lot of friends in Columbus Police Department and other law enforcement agencies, and it's a thankless job. So don't make it that way. Make it a job they're thankful to have because you're thankful for them. Thanks. Everybody have a great day.